Korea issued its first ever extreme heat emergency alert on Sunday for Gyeongsan and Pohang as temperatures approached 40 degrees Celsius, triggering urgent safety directives to halt all outdoor activities.
일요일인 어제 경북 경산시와 포항시 기온이 섭씨 40도 가까이 오르면서 사상 첫 폭염 중대경보가 발령돼 모든 야외 활동을 중단하라는 긴급 안전지침이 내려졌습니다. So this was the first time.
Yes, it's a new system. And what happens is an extreme heat emergency alert is issued when perceived temperatures, so not actual temperatures, but perceived temperatures hit 38 degrees Celsius for at least one day after 2 days of 35 degree Celsius plus heat. So it means continuous heat. And so what this data identified over the past 18 years is that Gyeongsan is the nation's most heat vulnerable region, projecting an average of 3.1 alert days per year. And so what authorities have done is they've immediately called for the cessation of outdoor activities, advised citizens to use cooling shelters and monitor vulnerable individuals.
Yeah. So it can be 38 degrees perceived temperature or actually 39 degrees.
Yes, either or.
그래요. 그래서 일 최고 체감 온도가 perceived temperature가 38도 이상이거나 아니면은 실제 일 최고 기온이 39도 이상인 게 이제 하루 이상 지속되고 평균적으로는 35도 이상이 이틀 연속됐을 경우 이럴 때 이제 폭염 중대 경보가 발령이 되는데요. 지난달에 처음 이제 발표가 됐죠. 이런 경보가 도입이 될 것이다. 그렇지만 실제로 온도가 그렇게까지 오르지는 않았다가 어제 바로 그렇게까지 더웠습니다. 그래서 경산시와 포항시에서 처음으로 이 폭염 중대 경보가 발령되는 일이 있었습니다. We say it was the first ever.
Yeah, because this is a new system. So if something happens for the first time in history or in a region or in a country, we say first ever with a hyphen as an adjective.
그러니까 first라고만 해도 처음이긴 한데요. 영어에서는 이렇게 좀 강조하기 위해서 뭐 사상 최초다 이런 말을 할 때는 ever를 붙이죠. First ever.
Right.
뭐 굉장히 좋은 거를 얘기할 때 best만 해도 되는데 best ever 이러면은 진짜 너무 좋아 이렇게 좀 강조하는 거죠.
Yeah, if you want to emphasize that it's a record in terms of statistics. If you just say best, it's sort of broad. It just sounds general. But if you say first ever, it means there's no other.
Exactly. 우리가 그냥 일상생활 속에서도 쓴다는 얘기를 저는 좀 하고 싶었던 건데, 그러니까 내가 마신 커피 중에서 이건 최고야. 이럴 때 this is the best coffee I've ever had. 이래도 돼요.
Right.
그런데 this is the best ever coffee I've ever had. 이러면 더 강조하는 것입니다. 그렇다고 무슨 뭐 사상 최고의 뭐 그런 의미는 아니겠죠. 주관적인 거니까. 근데 지금은 날씨 관련된 얘기고요. 실제로 이런 이제 중대 폭염 중대 경보가 최초로 발령이 됐습니다. What about halting all outdoor activities?
Yeah, so authorities are saying stop, right? To halt, H-A-L-T. And stop what? Outdoor activities, things like anything you do outside, like sports, festivals, things like construction, construction workers or classes, military drills. These are all outdoor activities that authorities are saying to halt or to stop.
네. 그래서 멈추라는 것을 영어로 이제 halt라고 할 수 있어요. 중단하라라는 뜻입니다. 그래서 stop도 있지만 이제 야외 활동을 즉시 중단하세요. halt all outdoor activities 이런 행동 요령도 있고요. 그 외에도 이제 무더위 쉼터 또 그늘로 이동해야 되고요. 수분 섭취 또 충분한 휴식이 권장되고 그다음에 이제 조금 더 취약계층 있죠. 나이가 드신 분들이라든지 홀로 사시는 분들은 이런 분들 같은 경우에는 이웃의 안부를 반드시 확인하고 인명피해를 최소화해야 되는 것도 역시 행동 요령에 포함된 내용입니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Korea issued its first ever extreme heat emergency alert on Sunday for Gyeongsan and Pohang as temperatures approached 40 degrees Celsius, triggering urgent safety directives to halt all outdoor activities. Let's move on to the next headline.
The number of Koreans receiving parental leave benefits surpassed 100,000 for the first time in the first half of this year, with the proportion of fathers taking time off nearing 40%.
올해 상반기 국내 육아휴직 급여 수급자가 처음으로 10만 명을 넘어선 가운데 남성 육아휴직 비중도 40%에 육박한 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yeah.
Tell us more.
Yeah, so obviously the government is trying to do more to help parents take more time off work to care for their children. And what this latest data suggests is that the government has 4 main programs having to do with childcare. And it showed that the number of people that took any sort of these benefits surpassed 100,000 for the first time ever. So it's on the increase. It's a 16.2% increase compared to the same time last year, in fact. And the proportion of fathers taking time off for paternity leave is up 9.5%, and that's up from 38% when it hit 30% in 2024. It's now at 38%, so it's actually growing very quickly.
네, 그래요. 그래서 지금 올해 상반기 육아휴직 급여 수급자의 수가 처음으로 10만 명을 넘어섰는데요. 작년 같은 기간 같은 경우에는 94,900명 정도였습니다. 그래서 거의 10% 정도 증가한 수치이기도 하고요. 그중에서 이제 아빠들의 비중, 남성들의 육아휴직 비중이 40% 가까이까지 갔어요. 지금 이것도 굉장히 많이 오른 건데 2024년, 그러니까 2년 전에 그때 처음으로 30%를 넘어섰고 그다음에 작년에는 36%, 올해는 38.8%니까 지금 거의 39% 정도가 되고 있습니다. 10명 중에 4명은 이제 아빠들이 육아휴직을 내고 있는 모습이죠. We can see that things have changed drastically. I mean, socially, I think, in the past, even mothers were a little bit hesitant to ask for these leaves because, you know, there's this office culture and you want to make sure that you're part of a group. You don't want to leave. But now, even fathers, they can, I guess, more freely ask for a leave?
Absolutely. There was a certain stigma attached to, especially fathers taking leave off from work, right?
Definitely. All right, let's have a look at the word parental leave benefit.
Yeah, so if you break this down, parental, meaning having to do with parents, and leave is a special word here when we take time off of work, right? So when we talk about any sort of financial support, job protection, or employee benefits from, in this case, the government, just in general, we just all call parental leave benefits.
자, break it down. 하나하나 끊어서 보면은요. 일단은 이제 부모와 관련된 이라는 단어죠. parental, parent라는 단어가 들어가요. 뒤에 al 붙이면은 발음이 parental이 아니라 parental 이렇게 바뀝니다. 그래서 parental 그다음에 leave가 이게 바로 휴직이에요. 뭐 휴가가 될 수도 있는데 여기서는 휴직이고 그 다음에 benefit는 회사 차원에서 우리가 benefit라는 단어를 들었을 때는 복지라는 뜻이 일단 있고요. 그래서 이 회사의 어떤 복지, 뭐 복리, 후생 이런 건 어떻게 돼? What are the company benefits? 이렇게 물어볼 수 있는데 여기서는 급여입니다. 그래서 육아휴직 급여. 그래서 parental leave benefits. 근데 우리가 평소에는 benefit 그러면은 어떤 이득이라는 뜻이잖아요. 그렇지만 여기선 그렇게 해석하면 어색하겠죠?
Right. Another way to say it is perks, right?
Perks.
Parental leave perks, or what sort of perks does your job offer?
perks는 이제 혜택이라는 뜻이 있죠. 그래서 P-E-R-K, 뭐 S까지 붙이면은 그거는 이제 조금 더 광범위한 건데 뭐 이를테면은 내가 이 회사를 다녀서 그 회사 로고가 붙어 있는 펜을 얻을 수 있어. 이런 거는 perk예요. 근데 이거는 이제 급여는 아니죠. 급여나 뭐 그런 건 아니지만 그게 복지나 복리 뭐 혜택 이런 데에는 해당이 될 수 있을 것 같아요. 그 외에도 뭐 커피 브레이크 동안에 카페테리아에서 무료로 뭐 커피를 먹는 이런 거는 다 perk에 해당이 되겠죠.
Yeah, if you want to be more specific, you could call it parental leave pay because in this case we're just talking about money in this case, but benefits is more general, right?
그래요. 네. 자, what about taking time off?
Yeah, to take time off means you're stopping from working, or it could be studying, anything you're doing for either a short or long-term basis.
그러니까 좀 빠진다는 뜻인데요. 뭐 휴직을 하는 게 꼭 아니더라도 잠깐 동안 뭐 반차를 낸다든지 아니면은 좀 며칠 쉴게요. 이런 것들도 다 이제 taking time off가 됩니다. 그래서 여기서는 그 육아휴직을 낸 아버지들 얘기를 하고 있는 건데 그냥 우리가 일상적으로도 I'm gonna take some time off. 그럼 나 좀 쉬려고 이렇게 이해하시면 돼요. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The number of Koreans receiving parental leave benefits surpassed 100,000 for the first time in the first half of this year, with the proportion of fathers taking time off nearing 40%.
Gangwon Province has issued its first malaria alert of the year for Yanggu County after vector mosquito numbers exceeded critical safety thresholds for 2 consecutive weeks.
강원도 양구군에 올해 도내 첫 말라리아 경보가 내려졌습니다. 이는 해당 지역의 매개 모기 개체수가 2주 연속 안전기준치를 초과한 데 따른 조치입니다.
Yeah. So malaria, it seems like, is at risk in these areas. So when they say the threshold exceeded 5.0, it means the average number of this specific mosquito collected in a single trap over a 24-hour period. That happened for 2 straight weeks every day. And that means there's a big concentration, possibly, of these malaria-carrying mosquitoes. So if you're in these areas, places like Yanggu, Chuncheon, Cheolwon, Hwacheon, Inje, Gosong, all in the sort of northern Gangwon sort of regions, be on the lookout. Make sure you wear insect repellent and just maybe long sleeve clothing if you're out and about.
말라리아 매개 모기가 이게 얼룩무늬가 있어요. 그래서 우리가 뭐 모기를 그렇게 자세히 볼 기회가 많진 않지만 혹시 보인다면 요거 특히 주의하시면 되겠습니다. 이게 얼룩 날개 모기라고 부르기도 하는데 실제 얼룩 무늬가 있고 그다음에 이제 증상은 일단 오한, 슬슬거리고 the chills exactly. 고열, high fever. 그다음에는 이제 뭐 발한 그러니까 뭐 sweating I guess. 뭐 이런 거, cold sweat. 요런 증상들이 48시간 간격으로 계속 반복이 될 수 있다라고 하는데요. 주의를 하셔야겠고, 그다음에 이제 예방 수칙도 알아두면 좋겠죠. 처음부터 안 물리면은 제일 좋으니까요. 그래서 야간에 야외 활동하는 걸 좀 자제하라고 하고요. 모기 기피제 요즘에 잘 나오잖아요. 스프레이 형태로 이렇게 해서 된 것들 많이 있더라고요. 이런 거 좀 뿌리면 좋고. 아무래도 짧은 팔보다는 긴 팔을 입는 게 그래도 우리 피부에는 좀 도움이 되겠죠. 날씨가 덥긴 하지만. 그 다음에는 이제 만약에 물렸다 그러면은 즉시 보건소나 병원을 방문하시는 게 좋습니다.
Yeah, it's interesting they call them vector mosquitoes because
vector.
yeah,
V-E-C-T-O-R
because I'm more usually when you say vector I think of math or physics, right? Because it indicates the size and direction of a certain force.
Right.
But in sort of biology, it means any sort of mosquito or tick that transmits the disease, like a mosquito.
Yeah, earlier on you said malaria carrying mosquitoes, and that's the same thing. 그래서 malaria, 요 바이러스, 뭐랄까요?
Disease.
disease,
Yeah.
요 질병을 가지고 다니는 이 매개 모기를 영어로는 vector mosquito라고 합니다. V-E-C-T-O-R. Okay, so we're looking at the number of these vector mosquitoes exceeding critical safety thresholds.
Right, exceed, E-X-C-E-E-D, meaning greater than or going beyond something.
그래요. 그래서 초과하다 할 때 exceeding이라고 하고 뭘 초과하느냐? Critical safety thresholds.
Yeah, so a threshold, 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 is a sort of limit or a level that's set. And if you go beyond that, or if you exceed that, as they say, it becomes a dangerous or sort of unsafe situation.
중대한, critical, 안전, safety, 그다음에 기준치, threshold. 그래서 그런 중대한 안전 기준치를 지금 이미 이 매개 모기 개체수가 넘어선 상태입니다. 2주 연속 지금 이렇게나 많은 매개 모기가 발견이 되고 있는 상황이네요. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Gangwon Province has issued its first malaria alert for the year for Yanggu County after vector mosquito numbers exceeded critical safety thresholds for 2 consecutive weeks. Now let's move on to the next headline.
A passenger survived being nearly sucked headfirst out of a plane cabin window during an explosive decompression and a sudden 9,000-foot descent, escaping with only friction burns after his wife heroically held on to his legs for 5 minutes until other passengers pulled him back inside.
비행 중이던 여객기 기체 파손으로 다시 읽어보겠습니다. 비행 중이던 여객기가 기체 파손으로 인한 급격한 기압 저하 및 9,000피트 급강하 상황을 겪으면서 한 승객이 파손된 창문 밖으로 머리부터 빨려나갈 뻔한 사고가 발생했습니다. 이 승객은 아내가 용감하게 5분 동안 다리를 붙잡고 버틴 이후 다른 승객들이 다시 기내로 끌어당긴 덕분에 마찰 화상은 입었지만 목숨은 건졌습니다.
Yeah, how's this for a vacation story?
My goodness.
Yeah, it happened during a flight from Greece to Germany when this 61-year-old man was sucked nearly headfirst out of the window. The window, I saw the aftermath. I don't know if you've seen a picture of it, but
Yeah.
it was just completely gone. And so luckily he had his seatbelt on at the time and his wife held on to his legs for 5 minutes. It probably felt like 5 hours. Passengers saying they heard a quote-unquote explosion and then sudden decompression happened. But miraculously, the victim only suffered from shock and friction burns. Right. He lost consciousness, believe it or not, multiple times during the ordeal, but he landed safe. The plane landed safe. This happened on an aircraft that was 18 years old. Ryanair, yeah, subsidiary of Malta Air. And so investigations are ongoing into the cause of this incident.
네, 왜 이런 일이 발생했느냐? 일단 뭐 추정밖에 할 수 없습니다. 계속해서 조사가 진행이 될 건데 그리스 언론에 의하면은 엔진에서 떨어진 파편이 창문을 파손하지 않았겠느냐 이렇게 지금 추정이 된다라고 언론이 얘기를 하고 있고요. 이 그리스에서 독일로 가고 있었던 라이언에어 항공기였는데 거기서 갑자기 창문 하나가 이제 떨어져 나가면서 승객이 창문 밖으로 이제 빨려 나갈 뻔한 그런 아찔한 순간이었습니다. 무려 5분 동안이나 바로 옆에 앉아 있었던 아내가 다리를 정말 꽉 붙잡고 있었던 덕분에 더 큰 사고가 일어나지 않았고요. 그 다음에는 또 이제 나머지 승객들도 도와서 안쪽으로 다시 끌어당길 수 있었는데 살짝 이 friction burns가 있었다라고 해요. Friction burns, what's that?
Yeah, friction, if you, again, science, it's when two sort of forces go against each other and it creates heat. In this case, we'd be talking just about abrasions to the surface of your skin,
Right.
like burns, when it rubs forcibly against it.
Friction은 마찰입니다. So, I mean, ice, very little friction. And then anything rugged has a lot
Sandpaper.
of sandpaper, there's a
Yeah.
lot of friction there, of course. 여기도 아무래도 뭐 창문 틀, 그다음에 이제 좀 유리가 깎여 나가면서 그런 마찰이 있었을 것으로 당연히 예상이 됩니다. 그래서 마찰 화상을 입었다. Friction burns. 그러나 그 정도였습니다. 그래서 그나마 다행인데요. He suffered friction burns. But that was it. Only friction burns는 단어가 붙었네요. 네, 그뿐이었다. 왜 그랬느냐? 왜냐면은 와이프가 heroically 이제 다리를 5분 동안이나 붙잡고 있었기 때문이다. Heroically가 뭘까요?
Yeah, so we see the word hero in there, right? Like superhero. It means you're doing something like a hero, being very brave,
Right.
courageous, right?
그렇죠. 영웅처럼이라는 단어이긴 한데요. 여기서는 정말 뭐 이렇게 뭐랄까요? 사력을 다해서 온 힘을 다해서 뭐 용감하게 이런 느낌으로 보면 될 것 같죠?
Yep.
그래요. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. 5분 상당히 긴 시간이거든요. A passenger survived being nearly sucked headfirst out of a plane cabin window during an explosive decompression and a sudden 9,000-foot descent, escaping with only friction burns after his wife heroically held onto his legs for 5 minutes until other passengers pulled him back inside. All right, let's move on to our final headline.
A new Princeton University study finds that individuals with depression or severe depressive symptoms post significantly more frequently the day after receiving high numbers of social media likes.
미국 프린스턴 대학교 연구에 따르면은 우울증 진단을 받았거나 우울 증상이 심한 사람일수록 소셜미디어에서 좋아요를 많이 받은 경우 다음 날 게시물을 더 자주 올리는 경향이 뚜렷한 것으로 나타났습니다.
Yeah. This is the first ever sort of study in this case in terms of the fact that in the past, older studies relied strictly on these subjects' memories through surveys or just looking at total screen time. But this research actually tracked changes in behavior in people's social media patterns. And what it found is that, people lacking offline social support use social media platforms to compensate for that sort of need or that deficit here. And they looked at 17 million posts from thousands of X accounts. And they found that this real world behavior differs from traditional lab settings, which previously suggested that individuals with depression are generally insensitive to rewards, things like cash, for example.
그래요. 이 X, 예전에는 이제 트위터라고 했었죠. 예, X 이용자 7,700여 명이 실험 대상자였고요. 이 중에서 한 1,000명 정도가 우울증 진단을 받았고, 그 외에는 이제 5,000명 이상이 이제, 그렇지 않았는데, 이제 같이 좀 비교를 해봤습니다. 그랬더니 이제 1,700만 건 이상의 게시물을 가지고 이제 분석을 해봤더니 우울증이 있는 사람들 같은 경우에는 좋아요가 많이 있은 다음 날 게시물을 훨씬 더 많이 올려서 이것으로 이제 내가 어떻게 해석을 할 수 있느냐. 이 좋아요라는 게 어떤 사회적인 인정이죠. 근데 이런 인정을 굉장히 갈구하고, 예, 그 인정을 받았기 때문에 더욱더 이제 게시물을 더 많이 올리는 것으로 이렇게 해석이 됐습니다. Alright, we're talking about people with severe depressive symptoms.
Yeah. So when we say severe, it means very serious or intense. And when we say depressive symptoms, it doesn't mean you have clinical depression, but you have these signs that show, that are associated with depression. Things like sadness, loss of interest, even loss of appetite, possibly fatigue. So there is a difference, a distinguishing factor here. If you look at the headline, it says people with depression or severe depressive symptoms.
Exactly. 그래서 나 우울해 라고 할 때는 I'm depressed. 그렇지만 나 우울증 진단을 받았어는 I have depression. 이게 좀 다릅니다. 그래서 여기서는 이제 그런 이제 부류의 사람들을 다 같이 보고 있는 거죠. 우울증 진단을 받은 사람도 있고, 진단을 받진 않았지만 그래도 굉장히 심각한 그런 우울 증상을 보이는 사람들도 비슷한 양상을 보였는데요. 오프라인에서 사회적인 지지를 받지 못하는 것을 온라인상에서, 소셜미디어에서 이렇게 보완하려는 그런 행동의 경향성이 뚜렷하게 나타났다라는 겁니다. 우리 글 올리는 거는 영어로 posting이라고 하죠.
Yeah, this is interesting because when you post something, normally in the past you would attach it to a bulletin board, possibly with a thumbtack or something like that. But it's interesting because in Korean you say 글을 올리다, right? So you're still putting it up. So you're sort of posting it in that case.
그렇죠.
So when you post it, you're publishing something or you're sharing something online for other people to see.
네, 옛날에는 정말 옛날이지만 진짜 물리적인 게시판에다가 우리가 앞정을 가지고 종이를 이렇게 뭐라 그럴까요? 붙였다 그러나? 게시판에다가 그때도 올리는 건 올리는 거긴 한데 꽂아서 이렇게 글을 올렸죠. 근데 지금은 우리가 그런 표현들을 온라인상에서 그대로 사용하고 있는데 영어도 마찬가지인 거예요. 그래서 포스트라는 게 원래는 그런 이제 앞정 같은 거를 이게 꽂는다라는 뜻이 원래는 있어요. 그러나 이제 시대에 맞게 우리가 쓰고 있는 거죠. 소셜미디어 같은 곳에다가 글을 올릴 때 post something 이라고 하고 그 게시물 자체도 a post라고 할 수 있어요. So you can post something online or you might read a post online. 이렇게 다 씁니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. A new Princeton University study finds that individuals with depression or severe depressive symptoms post significantly more frequently the day after receiving high numbers of social media likes. Well, that's it for today's headlines.
A relentless European heat wave is driving nighttime temperatures to record highs, causing an unprecedented surge in sleepless tropical nights that threaten human health and lower economic productivity across the continent.
유럽을 휩쓸고 있는 폭염이 좀처럼 수그러들지 않으면서 각지에서 밤 최저 기온이 역대 최고를 기록했습니다. 이로 인해 유럽 대륙 전역에 잠 못 드는 열대야 현상이 전에 없이 급증해 사람들의 건강이 위협받고 경제 생산성도 저하되고 있는 실정입니다. It's so hot in Europe. We keep hearing stories about how hot it is during the day, now also during the night.
Yes, I mean, June 27th in Dresden in Germany, the lowest temperature was 29.4 degrees Celsius.
At night.
At night time. That's the highest minimum temperature ever recorded in Germany. It's not just there. It's also across at least 15 countries in Europe where they've seen these previously record low temperatures smashed. Everywhere is having hot nights as well as really hot days.
Yeah, I mean, even by Korean standards, because we have slightly higher standards when it comes to defining tropical nights.
Well, yes.
But even by our standards, 29 degrees at night is too hot.
Yes, and we have to remember that we're used to hot nights. We're used to tropical nights.
Yeah.
Korea has always had sweaty summers. However, Europe traditionally has been a lot cooler. Certainly in the UK, they're experiencing temperatures that I never experienced when I was a child living there.
Yeah.
So it's very unfamiliar and there's no proper infrastructure for it. And so it means it's causing all sorts of problems. And in fact, a UK study estimated that the economic losses from these intense nighttime temperatures is at 0.04% of the annual gross domestic product because people are tired and they're making mistakes.
Sure.
So it's not just bad for your health, it's also bad for the workplace.
Yeah, productivity. If you don't get enough sleep, then, you know, the rest of the day or the day after is going to obviously suffer because of that. 자, 우리는 열대야 하면은 25도 이상인 이제 밤 기온을 얘기하잖아요. 유럽은 기준이 좀 다르긴 해요. 20도 이상이면은 유럽에서는 이제 밤 기온이 20도 이상이면 열대야라고 하기는 하는데 그렇다 손 치더라도 독일 드레스덴 같은 경우에는요. 얼마 전에 밤에 29도 이하로 떨어지질 않았답니다. 그러니까 기준이 원래 우리보다 낮기는 하지만 기온 자체는 너무 지금 높아요.
Yes, it's
정말
just
이례적입니다.
too hot. And it's been increasing, these nighttime temperatures have actually been increasing faster than daytime temperatures when we look at the analysis over decades.
또 에어컨 없는 집도 많고 그러다
Of course.
보니까 이런 게 충분히 대비가 안 된 상태에서 이런 이제 낮더위, 열대야 뭐 너무나 지금 심각한 상황입니다. We're even seeing casualties as well because of this.
Yeah, it's a really serious situation.
그래요. 자, 이런 열기, 폭염, relentless하다라고 했는데요. What does that mean?
Well, if something or someone is relentless, they don't stop. They just keep going and going and going. If you love action movies and you love your big heroes, very often, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Liam Neeson, the critics will say, you know, the hero in this movie is relentless. He never gives up. He keeps going. So we associate it often with some kind of physical force or even attack, even aggression. But it's the idea that whatever it is, it keeps pushing and pushing and pushing.
자, relentless. 스펠링은요. R-E-L-E-N-T-L-E-S-S인데요. 끈질기다는 뜻입니다. 수그러들지를 않아요. 그래서 지금 이 폭염, 유럽의 더위가 좀처럼 수그러들지 않는다라는 의미로 a relentless European heat wave 이렇게 표현을 했고요. 그 다음에 이제 tropical nights 우리도 많이 쓰는 표현이죠. 열대야. 앞에 sleepless tropical nights.
Yes, well, just like Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
If you're sleepless, well, you can't sleep. I hope none of our listeners had a sleepless night. Certainly, I've had a few when I've been sick or when I've been worried. And it doesn't mean that you don't sleep at all. It just means you're sleeping very little. If you have a sleepless night, maybe you got an hour or two, but you didn't get your full 6, 7, 8 hours.
그래요. sleepless 그러면은 잠을 제대로 자지 못한다. 잠을 제대로 이루지 못한다. 이런 뜻이 되겠고요. 이제 less가 붙은 또 다른 단어 중에 restless가 있어요.
네.
restless 같은 경우에는 그냥 단순히 쉬지 못했다가 아니고요. 약간 좀이 쑤시는 겁니다. 하루 종일 내가 집 안에 있는다. 우리 코비드 시절 동안에는 밖에 거의 못 나갔죠. 네. 그래서 그냥 거의 like a cooped up chicken. 이제 닭장에 있는 닭 같다. 이런 표현도 많이 썼거든요. 영어에서는. 그런 것처럼 계속 이렇게 실내에만 있다 보면 나 나가고 싶어. 좀 움직이고 싶어. 하는 이런 상태가 되잖아요. 이런 거를 restless라고 하고 지금 여기선 잠을 제대로 자지 못하는 너무 더우니까 그런 상태인 것을 sleepless라고 합니다. Sleepless tropical nights 유럽에서 이어지고 있습니다. 우리나라도 마찬가지고요. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A relentless European heat wave is driving nighttime temperatures to record highs, causing an unprecedented surge in sleepless tropical nights that threaten human health and lower economic productivity across the continent. Let's move on to the second headline.
Korean golfer Yoo Hae-ran has clinched the Amundi Evian Championship title in a playoff birdie victory, securing her second consecutive LPGA Major Championship victory in just 3 weeks.
프랑스 아문디 에비앙 챔피언십에 출전한 골프 선수 유헤란이 연장전에서 버디를 잡으며 우승을 차지했습니다. 이로써 유헤란 선수는 불과 3주 만에 미국 여자 프로골프 메이저 대회 2연속 우승을 달성했습니다. Congratulations.
She's doing amazingly well this year. This is her 4th major win this season. She's won 5 LPGA victories, LPGA tournaments.
Yeah.
She's doing incredibly well, and she's actually done something that no other woman golfer from Korea has done since 2019.
Which is?
Which is to win multiple LPGA titles in a single season. In this case, winning them back-to-back. It's really impressive.
Yeah.
Goyi Jin-young did it in 2019, but certainly she's proving to be, I think, one of the best golfers in the world, and certainly the best woman golfer in Korea.
In the meantime, of course, we have good news in PGA as well. Kim Joo-hyung, of course, getting great results. 한국 남녀 골프가 이렇게 미국 프로골프 투어, 또 이제 그 미국 여자 프로골프 투어, PGA와 LPGA 투어에서 나란히 정상에 오른 또 이 소식 같이 전해드립니다. 자, 표현 좀 볼게요. Clinch, a title, clinch victory.
Yes, when we're using it for competition for sports, clinch means win, to get it.
Yeah.
And you'll see it used a lot. The other word for clinch is like an embrace. We talked about movies before. Yeah, in a romantic movie, the two lovers clinch at the end of the film. They basically hug each other, embrace each other.
Okay.
But here, when we're using it for sports, if someone clinches something, they get it, they win it.
Clinch is spelt C-L-I-N-C-H. 이게 승리를 거머쥔다 이런 뜻입니다. What about to secure something?
Clinch.
Is it similar?
It's the same thing.
Oh, it's the
here.
same.
To secure a win, to secure a victory, to clinch a win, to clinch a victory means the same thing. It means to win.
Yeah.
The idea of secure, though, is you're doing it so that it's safe.
Yeah.
It's yours, 100%.
Exactly.
If you clinch a victory, well, there could be a little bit of doubt. It could be, you might lose it very quickly. Whereas secure has the sense of this is yours.
secure는 확보하다라는 뜻인데요. 여기서는 다 마찬가지로 이런 승리를 거머쥐었다라는 의미로 썼는데 앞에 클린치는 이번에 아문디 에비안 챔피언십 타이틀을 얻은 것을 얘기하고 뒤에 securing은 2연속 우승한 것을 묘사하고 있는데요. 뭐 다 상을 받았다라는 의미로 보시면 되겠습니다. 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. Korean golfer Yoo Hae-ran has clinched the Amundi Evian Championship title in a playoff birdie victory, securing her second consecutive LPGA Major Championship victory in just 3 weeks.
Climate experts warn that Typhoon Bavi, which recently made landfall in China, demonstrates how rising global temperatures fuel more intense tropical storms that cause catastrophic rainfall, severe inland flooding, and extensive infrastructure damage even after weakening inland.
기상 전문가들은 최근 중국에 상륙한 태풍 바비가 지구온난화로 인해 열대성 폭풍의 강도가 갈수록 커지고 있음을 보여준다며 태풍이 내륙으로 진입해 세력이 약해진 후에도 재난 수준의 집중호우와 심각한 홍수, 광범위한 인프라 피해를 초래한다고 경고했습니다. Tell us more.
This was very scary. I mean, it was huge, about 1,000 kilometers in diameter. That's the equivalent to the size of France. Heading towards China, it made landfall in China's Zhejiang province, and then went inland towards the Yellow Sea. There were mass emergency relocations. Looking at over 2 million people in total moved out of their homes to safety just in case. 700 trees in one area were uprooted. Plenty of flights were cancelled in Shanghai. Rivers were overflowing. And even though now it has structurally weakened to a tropical storm, they're worried that there could be more inland floods, and there could be landslides. And they're saying that, these climate experts are saying that, well, we can see how the climate crisis is exacerbating these issues and making things a lot worse and causing a lot more damage.
Absolutely. 자, 그래요. 비록 세력이 약해지기는 했지만 그럼에도 불구하고 여러 가지 그 기상 악화 상황이 이어지고 있는 것이 지금 우리가 계속 얘기하는 지구 온난화 때문이다. 이런 얘기를 하고 있는 건데요. Let's have a look at to demonstrate.
Yes, if something demonstrates how something works or demonstrates something else, it's showing it.
Yeah.
It's giving us an example of it in the same way that our teacher will demonstrate various aspects of science or chemistry in class.
Right.
Here, though, we're saying, like, look at this typhoon. That's showing us what is happening with the climate crisis with these increasing temperatures.
Exactly. And the noun form is demonstration.
Yes.
보여준다라는 뜻이 있어요. 그래서 입증한다라고 여기서는 해석을 할 수 있을 것 같습니다. So, Typhoon Bavi demonstrates how rising global temperatures can affect these tropical storms. So they're still quite severe, even though the storm itself is not severe, but the impact is very severe.
Yes.
그걸 보여준다. It shows us, it demonstrates. And the thing is, it has weakened inland.
It has.
But as we're seeing, that doesn't mean there's no flooding, because there is still flooding. That doesn't mean there's no rainfall, because there's still a lot of rain. So what's weakening inland?
Okay, so weakening, if something weakens, it gets weaker, it gets less strong. So the opposite being strengthening and weakening. And inland means not on the coast. So we talk about the coastal areas and we talk about inland areas. Seoul is an inland area. We're not directly next to the sea. However, Incheon is on the coast. So if we had a storm, and I hope we don't have one, that moved from Incheon to Seoul, it would be moving inland.
inland 하면 내륙이라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 weakening, 세력이 약화된다. inland, 내륙으로 이동하면서 이렇게 세력이 약화된다라는 겁니다. 실제로 타이푼 바비가 그렇게 세력이 약해지긴 했어요. 그러나 그 여파는 계속해서 크게 나타나고 있다라는 게 이게 결국은 온난화 때문이다. 이렇게 해석이 된다는 얘기이고요. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Climate experts warn the Typhoon Bavi, which recently made landfall in China, demonstrates how rising global temperatures fuel more intense tropical storms that cause catastrophic rainfall, severe inland flooding, and extensive infrastructure damage, even after weakening inland. All right, let's move on to the next headline.
FIFA is selling preserved fragments of the actual grass turf from the 2026 World Cup final for $450 each, encased in premium acrylic with a USB keepsake to be shipped after the July 19th championship match.
국제축구연맹 FIFA가 2026 북중미 월드컵 결승전이 열리는 경기장의 실제 잔디 조각을 개당 $450에 판매 중인 것으로 알려졌습니다. 이 조각은 고급 아크릴 케이스에 담긴 상태로 7월 19일 결승전이 끝난 후 USB 기념품과 함께 배송될 예정입니다. All right, interesting. Tell us more.
Yeah, well, we won't be able to buy them. They're only going to be sold in America and in Europe.
Okay.
And it is a lot of money, $450. And it feels like this World Cup, a lot of people have been complaining about the prices. We've seen regular match ticket prices increasing. Sometimes seats were going for almost $33,000. And for VIP, the hospitality seats, they were going at $34,500 a piece. The ironic thing is, though, they may be selling this turf, but the players have been complaining about it. They've been complaining about the quality of this turf. It's actually on top of MetLife Stadium's NFL artificial turf. And, well, I don't know. If you're a big football fan, this may be something you want as a keepsake. but it is a lot of money for a bit of grass.
All right. Well, let's have a look at the expression, the actual grass turf.
It's not fake. It's not someone else's turf. It's the actual grass turf, meaning it's the real thing. You know, I've seen the Mona Lisa in books and on TV, but I've never seen the actual Mona Lisa, meaning I've not gone to see it in person. So when we use the actual, we're emphasizing that we're talking about the real thing, whatever it may be.
그래요. 그래서 grass turf가 이 잔디 조각을 얘기하는데 실제 선수들이 뛰었던 그 월드컵 경기장에 잔디 조각을 판매하겠다라는 거고요. 실제의 영어로 the actual이라고 합니다. 자, 그다음에 USB는 우리가 뭔지 아는데 keepsake?
Well, keepsake is something that you keep. It's a memento. It's a souvenir. It's a little thing that sits on your shelf, perhaps.
Yes.
So when we use the term keepsake, it's any little item that keeps our memories of wherever we've been or whatever we've done.
USB keepsake라고 하면은 USB 기념품이라고 생각하시면 될 것 같아요. 소장용 USB 기념품이겠죠. 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. FIFA is selling preserved fragments of the actual grass turf from the 2026 World Cup final for $450 each, encased in premium acrylic with a USB keepsake to be shipped after the July 19th championship match. All right, let's move on to the final headline, which is also sports news.
Baseball fans in Korea will soon be able to buy hot dogs and other cooked foods directly from stadium aisles and stands, as the government has decided to allow mobile sales as part of deregulation efforts.
정부가 체육시설에서 조리식품의 이동 판매를 허용하는 규제 합리화에 나서면서 앞으로 국내 야구장에서 핫도그 및 기타 조리식품을 관람석에서 바로 구입할 수 있게 될 전망입니다. Convenient.
Yeah, very good news
Yep.
for those who love going to baseball and love getting a snack but hate having to queue for it, which seems to have been a big issue for a lot of people. You could have beer that was allowed to be sold to the stands with mobile sales, but not food. You always had to go and wait in line. The thing to remember here, though, it's not going to be all food because there are issues with food safety, with possible food poisoning. So things like sandwiches, kimbap, they're not going to be sold in this way. You're not going to be able to order them from your seat. But when it comes to hot dogs, churros, and 닭강정, delicious crispy fried chicken, it's going to be available. They're going to be very careful about how long this food is out. It has to be consumed within 2 hours of preparation.
Yeah.
So I think they're being a bit careful about this, but it feels like when baseball kicks off again, people are going to be very excited about it.
Yeah, it's also following the demand because so many people are going to watch baseball. And
yes.
so there's a lot of people there that want food too.
And nobody wants to miss a home run when they're queuing for chicken.
Exactly. So you can buy food directly from the stands.
Where you're sitting. You're
Okay.
sitting in the stands. You're not well, it depends. I guess you could stand in the stand. If your team gets a home run, you'll want to stand up, but the stand has seats. The stands are the seated areas in the stadium where spectators will watch whatever sport or will watch a concert if they're not in the front area on the pitch.
관중석이 stand입니다. 그래서 you can buy food directly. 이제 직접 음식을 구매할 수 있는데요. 어디서? 관중석에서 from the stands. 그리고 또 복도에서 from the aisles. 다 그렇게 구입할 수 있게 되고요. 이동하면서 음식을 판매할 예정이니까. And this is part of deregulation efforts.
Yes, if we're deregulating something or there are deregulation efforts, we're trying to remove or reduce the rules. We talk about regulations, they are rules.
Right.
So deregulation is when we remove those rules.
그렇죠. 규제 완화 노력의 일환으로 이렇게 하게 됐다. This is part of deregulation efforts. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Baseball fans in Korea will soon be able to buy hot dogs and other cooked foods directly from stadium aisles and stands, as the government has decided to allow mobile sales as part of deregulation efforts. And that's it for the headlines this morning with Paul Matthews.
The government has sharply raised Korea's 2026 real GDP growth forecast to 3% from the previous 2%, while nominal gross domestic product is projected to reach a 30-year high of 12.3%.
정부가 올해 실질 국내 총생산 성장률 전망치를 기존 2%에서 3%로 대폭 상향하는 한편 명목 GDP 증가율을 뜻하는 경상 성장률도 30년 만에 최고치인 12.3%로 전망했습니다. Tell us more.
Right. So the government has raised its 2026 economic growth forecast to 3%. They're citing strong domestic, I'm sorry. This was according to the Ministry of Finance and Economy. And they said that the adjustment to the real gross domestic product growth rate, it's reflecting, of course, the big semiconductor export boom due to the artificial intelligence-driven boom that we've been seeing lately. And the nominal growth rate, which does not account for inflation, is projected to reach a 30-year high of 12.3%. So building on this momentum, the government says that it is intending to raise the nation's potential growth rate to 3% by 2030 from its current level of less than 2%. And it said that it will accelerate its 3 recently announced quote-unquote mega projects, which include semiconductors and AI, and designate new initiatives related to rechargeable batteries and sensors as part of its strategy to achieve a super innovation economy.
지금 이제 second half에 접어들면서 경제 전망치가 나온 거죠. 정부 차원에서. 그래서 3% 경제 성장률을 기대한다, 예상한다, 또 그렇게 목표로 삼고 있다. 이렇게 어제 발표를 했습니다. 그래서 6개월 전 이제 the first half 때는 2% 경제 성장률을 예상했었거든요.
Yeah.
그때보다 상당히 많이 이제 상향 조정을 해서 경제 성장할 것이다라고 내다보고 있는 것인데 this projection is higher than other agencies as well.
Right.
다른 데서 내다본 우리나라의 경제 성장률 전망치보다도 좀 높은 수치입니다. 그걸 달성할 수 있는 것이 이제 또 나라의 목표이기도 하다. 이런 발표도 어제 있었고요.
Yep.
실질 GDP, 그 다음에 이제, 명목 GDP.
Right.
이런 표현들이 나오는데, 실질은 영어로 그냥 real 하면 돼요. 그래서 이제 경제 용어로 real GDP라고 하면은 이제 물가를 감안한 국내 총생산이 되겠고, 그 다음에는 이제 명목 GDP라고 해서 영어로는 nominal GDP. 근데 이거는 물가를 감안하지 않은
Right.
국내 총생산이 되겠죠.
Yeah, it's basically the total value of everything that a country produces.
All right, well, let's have a look at something moving sharply.
When something moves sharply, it's used. This is an adverb that's used to describe actions. It can be movements or conditions that are very sudden, severe, or clearly defined. So when we say that they raise something sharply, that means the figure has gone up by a large amount,
Yeah.
a significant amount.
Because to go up from 2 to 3 is a very big jump.
Yeah.
So they said they raised the projection. 전망치를 올렸다. 어떻게? 대폭. sharply. 그래서 급격히, 아주 많이라는 의미로 보실 수 있겠고요.
Right. And in the same way, you can say that someone made a sharp turn. And that means it's a rapid sort of a sudden turn. And someone can also talk sharply to you.
Okay.
And that would be someone talking in a very mean sort of way.
자, sharply는 부사입니다. 네, sharp 하면은 형용사가 되겠죠. What about a 30-year high?
Yeah, a 30-year high. So this would be like a statistical, benchmark, and it kind of represents the highest point or a price or a rate, a specific metric. And they're saying that it has reached that highest point in 3 decades.
30년 만에 최고치다. 이 최고치. 가 바로 high입니다. 그래서 이게 명사로 우리가 high를 말하면 가장 높은 숫자이기 때문에 날씨에서 제일 많이 쓰죠. 오늘의 최고 기온은 최저 기온은 할 때 today's highs will range between X and Y and today's lows will range between whatever. 이렇게 표현을 하죠. 자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. The government has sharply raised Korea's 2026 real GDP growth forecast to 3% from the previous 2%, while nominal gross domestic product is projected to reach a 30-year high of 12.3%. All right, let's move on to the second headline.
The National Museum of Korea has installed the world's largest cylindrical computed tomography device used to non-invasively inspect and map the internal structures of large statues and other artifacts.
국립중앙박물관이 세계 최대 수준의 원통형 컴퓨터 단층 촬영, 즉 CT 기기를 도입했습니다. 이 장치는 큰 조각상 및 기타 유물의 내부 구조를 파손 없이 검사하고 지도화하는 데 사용됩니다. Tell us more.
Yeah, so how big is this large cylindrical CT scanner? They're saying that it can inspect objects up to 1.1 meters in diameter and 3 meters long. So it's really big. And it was it can create detailed 3D images of their internal structures. And museum officials say that it will allow more precise analysis of everything from ancient ornaments to large wooden statues and fragile excavated relics. And it is the first cylindrical CT scanner of its kind in the nation. And it was previously used at Tokyo National Museum.
What's a diameter?
The diameter is, when in a circle, when you go from one end to the other, that would be the distance between, I guess, one point in a circle to another point.
Right. And if you go from one end to the middle, you call that the radius.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Technical math. It's like high school.
아시잖아요. 자, 네. 그래서 아까 지금 이 최대 규모의 CT 기기가 원통형 CT가 만들어졌다. 그래서 이제 앞으로는 뭐 대형 목조, 불상이라든지 뭐 이런 이제 고대 유물들을 들여다보는데 사용이 될 것인데요. 그 크기를 얘기해 주시면서 1.1 meters, 1.1m in diameter라고 했습니다. 지름이 그렇다라는 얘기예요. 영어로는 지름이 몇 미터다라고 할 때 먼저 그 치수를 얘기하고 그 다음에 in diameter 이렇게 표현을 합니다.
Because I mean, if you've had a CT scan before, you go into a cylindrical looking machine.
It looks exactly like the ones that we're used to going into.
Right. So they would probably place it and then it would go into this cylindrical, it kind of looks like a cave.
그렇죠. 네. 실린더처럼 생겨서 cylindrical이라는 표현이 나왔고요. 그 다음에 it's 3 meters in length. 그래서 길이는 3m다. 이것도 마찬가지로 길이, 그다음에 in 하고 length 이렇게 표현을 합니다. Sometimes in English we say CT or just CAT scan.
Yeah.
That's just sort of the shortened way of saying it. CT scan, CAT scan. All right, what about non-invasively looking into something?
Yeah, we use this a lot in medicine. So when you get a non-invasive treatment, that means that you are getting a procedure that doesn't require cutting anything or maybe physically inserting anything into your body. So like, maybe x-rays, MRIs, ultrasounds, these are all non-invasive ways to see what's wrong with you. Yep. In this case, it's the same. It means that they're inspecting what's inside these artifacts without damaging it or cutting into it or drilling into it.
Non-invasive. 두 개의 파트가 있는 표현인데요. invasive라는 것은 침습을 한다라는 뜻이 원래는 있습니다.
Like invading.
invading, 뭐 침범을 하다처럼. 그런데 이제 non-invasive라고 의학계에서 얘기할 때는요. 어디를 이렇게 자르지 않고 어디를 찌르지 않고 한다라는 뜻입니다. 그렇기 때문에 여기서 얘기하는 이 CT 스캔을 조금 더 친절하게 풀어서 설명해 주는 거예요. 어떤 뭐 수술적인 방법으로. 그러니까 이런 유물이 있을 때 그것을 우리가 이렇게 열어가지고 그 안을 내부를 들여다보는 게 아니라.
We're not going to tear it apart.
그렇죠. 네. 그래서 이 CT 스캔 기기 안에다가 넣어서 보는 거죠. 그 안을 들여다볼 수 있게 되는 거.
To keep everything intact.
Exactly. Yeah. 그래서 non-invasively they're going to inspect the inside of these artifacts, and they're going to map the structures. And map is used as a verb here.
Yeah.
그래서 이제 마치 지도를 그리듯이 안에 내부의 모습을 그림으로 그릴 수 있게 될 겁니다. 컴퓨터가. And what is an artifact?
An artifact. So it's basically any object that's been made, modified, or is used by humans, and it usually refers to ancient cultural or historical objects.
네. 아티팩트가 바로 유물이 되겠죠. 자, 다시 읽어보겠습니다. The National Museum of Korea has installed the world's largest cylindrical computed tomography device used to non-invasively inspect and map the internal structures of large statues and other artifacts.
An extraordinary record-breaking heat wave across Europe and North America has caused over 10,000 excess deaths in a single week, expanding massive atmospheric heat domes and triggering the UK's longest sustained temperature crisis in 50 years.
유럽과 북미 전역에 걸친 기록적인 폭염으로 인해 단 한 주 만에 10,000명 이상의 초과 사망자가 발생했습니다. 이번 폭염으로 대규모 열돔이 확장되고 영국에서는 1976년 이후 고온 기록이 최장기간 이어지고 있는 것으로 알려졌습니다.
Yeah.
It's non-stop stories coming out of Europe about how hot it is.
About the conditions there, the weather conditions.
Yeah.
So it's causing a lot of deaths, and it's definitely putting a lot of pressure on their health system as well. So more than 10,000 excess deaths were recorded across 27 European countries in late June, with most victims aged 65 or older. The UK and parts of the US as well, and they're all continuing to face these extreme temperatures, and they've been prompting heat alerts, water restrictions, and surging emergency room visits as well. So climate experts are warning that human-caused global warming is making heat waves more frequent and more intense, and they're saying that even more severe events like this will be likely in the future.
We've said it over and over, but Europe isn't, let's say, as well prepared for this kind of heat as we are in Korea.
They don't have air conditioning.
Yeah. I mean, we have been used to distinct weathers and very hot summers, albeit not as hot as right now, but we have the AC, everywhere.
Yeah.
Air conditioners. And we're kind of prepared for it in a way, but in Europe they're not. And as you said, a lot of people are suffering from it. In fact, some people have died from it as well.
A lot of people.
네, 많은 이렇게 인명피해까지 나오고 있습니다. 온열 질환자 상당히 많고요. 또 심지어는 너무 더워서 물속에 뛰어들었다가 또 너무나 안타깝게도 익사를 하는 경우들도 독일에서만 지난달에 99명이 또 이렇게 사망을 했다고요. 자, 그래요. 표현을 좀 보도록 하겠습니다. Extraordinary heat wave.
Yeah, extraordinary. You can say extraordinary. Some people say extraordinary. It's okay to say it both ways. And it means that something goes far beyond what is usual, regular, or customary. So it describes something that's highly unusual, exceptional, or even remarkable. It can be used both in a positive or negative way.
If you look at the word, it's extraordinary. And extra means it's above that.
Yeah.
It's beyond that.
Yeah.
그래서 이례적이다, 엄청나다라는 뜻이죠. 근데 extraordinary라고 발음하지 않고 extraordinary 이렇게 발음을 하고요. 자, 그다음에는 sustained temperature crisis.
Yeah, sustained temperature crisis. So this means when something is sustained, that means it's been maintained or it's been going on continuously over time without interruption. And so a sustained temperature crisis means that this temperature crisis has been prolonged, or this period where the temperature has been going above a certain level has been going on for an abnormally long time, and the temperatures are abnormally high or low, and that's kind of overwhelming the ecosystem or the critical infrastructure in that region.
Sustain이라고 하면은 지속하다 이런 뜻이 있죠. 그래서 sustainable energy, 지속 가능한 그런 에너지를 얘기할 텐데 여기서는 이제 장기화됐다는 뜻으로 sustained temperature crisis, 장기화된 이 기온 위기, 이 폭염을 얘기하고 있습니다. 그로 인해서 excess deaths가 이렇게 많다고 했는데요. 이 초과 사망자라고 하면은 평상시 수준에 비춰봤을 때 통상적으로 예상되는 사망자 외의 사망자 수를 얘기합니다.
Yeah.
자, 그럼 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. An extraordinary record-breaking heat wave across Europe and North America has caused over 10,000 excess deaths in a single week, expanding massive atmospheric heat domes and triggering the UK's longest sustained temperature crisis in 50 years. Now let's move on to headline number 4.
Economists are warning that a super El Nino weather cycle this year could cause a severe shock to global food prices lasting into 2028, fueling heat waves, flooding, and stormier weather.
경제학자들은 올해 슈퍼 엘니뇨 현상이 폭염과 홍수를 촉발하고 폭풍을 더 자주 일으켜 전 세계 식량 가격을 급등시킬 수 있으며 이 같은 상황이 2028년 하반기까지 이어질 수 있다고 경고했습니다. Everything's linked. So
Yes.
the weather ultimately leads to what we have on our tables, and that's also money. Tell us more.
Right. Money, food on the table, what we eat, definitely all linked to what's going on with the weather conditions. So they're saying that this potential super El Nino this year could trigger a global food price shock lasting through 2028, and combined with supply disruptions from the Iran war, the extreme weather event could worsen inflation by damaging crop harvests, disrupting supply chains, and driving up fertilizer and energy costs. So they're saying that there is a 63% chance the El Nino will become very strong later this year, increasing the risk of heat waves, droughts, and floods. Goldman Sachs said that they're estimating global food commodity prices could rise nearly 16%, with the full impact expected to be felt by the second half of 2028.
네, 엘니뇨, 슈퍼 엘니뇨 여러 가지 닉네임들이 있는데요. Godzilla 엘니뇨 이렇게도 제가 읽은 것 같아요. 자, 이 엘니뇨 현상으로 인해서 기후 변화 당연한 얘기지만 그뿐만이 아니라 식량 가격도 오를 수 있습니다. 점점 더 식량이 구해지기 힘드니까요. 자, 표현을 볼게요. What's a weather cycle?
A weather cycle. So weather cycles are periodic recurring patterns of weather in a specific region. They're usually driven by the Earth's tilt and revolution around the sun.
기상 패턴을 얘기하고 있는 건데요. 여기서는 그냥 사실 엘니뇨 현상을 엘니뇨 weather cycle
Yeah.
이렇게 얘기하고 있고요. Lasting into 언제?
Usually a date follows after, and when something lasts into, it means that it will continue to exist or endure or persist until that given date.
언제까지 이어지는, 그래서 lasting into 2028. 다시 읽어보겠습니다. Economists are warning that a super El Nino weather cycle this year could cause a severe shock to global food prices lasting into 2028, fueling heat waves, flooding, and stormier weather. Let's move on to our final headline.
A pet goat in the U.S. state of Colorado has become an online sensation after safely guiding firefighters through treacherous, steep paths at a wildfire site, inspiring a charity t-shirt line to benefit the local fire department foundation.
미국 콜로라도 주의 산불 현장에서 지역 주민이 키우는 염소 한 마리가 소방관들이 위험하고 가파른 산길을 안전하게 이동할 수 있도록 앞장서 안내해 온라인에서 화제가 됐습니다. 이를 계기로 지역 소방서 재단을 돕기 위해 이 염소의 얼굴이 담긴 자선 티셔츠도 판매되고 있는 것으로 전해졌습니다. Alright. Well, a hero goat.
Yeah, a hero goat.
A
definitely.
real goat.
Yeah, it's a pet goat. And yes, it has become an unlikely wildfire hero after helping firefighters navigate steep mountain trails during the Rock Creek wildfire. The pet goat's name is Goldie and belongs to a local firefighter, and it appeared to lead crews after safer, along safer, less slippery routes because it knows the terrain very well before staying nearby as they battled the blaze. It was there. It took them on these safe roads and it stayed with them until everything was over. So the firefighters praised the goat for knowing the terrain and helping them to move safely. And photos of this goat quickly went viral, and t-shirts featuring the goat are now being sold to raise funds for the local firefighters foundation.
Well, this goat could possibly be the greatest goat of all time.
Yeah, the goat.
The goat.
Literally.
자, so Goldie has become an online sensation.
Right. I think I mentioned photos quickly went viral. And when something becomes an online sensation, it goes viral. So it's called online sensation, internet sensation, and it's basically, it can be an animal, it can be a person, a video, a meme, or a trend that achieves rapid, widespread fame or intense public interest across the internet.
네, to go viral 이렇게 표현도 하는데요. 인터넷상에서 크게 이제 뭐 인기를 얻는다든지 유행을 한다든지 화제가 될 때 우리가 it goes viral, it becomes an online sensation, an internet sensation 이렇게 말을 합니다.
Do you know who the latest internet sensation is?
No. Who is it?
Well, from the Olympics, it was definitely Erling Haaland.
Of the World Cup.
Yeah, of the World Cup, not the
Yeah.
Olympics, sorry.
Yes.
And then these days, I heard it's Chesan from 80s.
Okay.
Have you seen them doing the dance?
No.
Oh, you gotta look it up.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out. I'm a bit behind when it comes to online sensations. But all right, at least I know about Goldie the goat.
Yes.
What about treacherous?
Treacherous. So we mentioned that the terrain was very treacherous, and that means that it's very dangerous. It's rough. There are a lot of things that are in the way for these firefighters to get to the wildfires. So treacherous is an adjective that describes something or someone that is extremely dangerous, unreliable perhaps, or someone that is guilty of betraying trust can also be called a treacherous person.
treacherous는 스펠링이 Treacherous. 굉장히 긴 단어인데요. 이게 굉장히 위험하다는 뜻이 있어요. 또 신뢰할 수 없다라는 뜻으로 사람한테 쓸 수도 있겠지만 여기서는 treacherous paths, 위험한 산길을 이 염소가 안내해줘서 소방대원들이 안전하게 갈 수 있게 한 겁니다. 왜냐면은 이 산은 염소에게는 그냥 놀이터 같은 곳이죠.
Yes.
예, 그러니까요. 자, 아무리 위험해도 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. A pet goat in the U.S. state of Colorado has become an online sensation after safely guiding firefighters through treacherous, steep paths at a wildfire site, inspiring a charity t-shirt line to benefit the local fire department foundation. Well, that's it for the headlines this morning with Karen.
The Minimum Wage Commission has voted to raise next year's minimum wage to 10,700 won per hour, up 380 won or 3.7% from this year's rate.
최저임금위원회가 내년 최저임금을 올해보다 380원이 오른 시간당 1,700원으로 의결했습니다. 이는 올해 대비 3.7% 인상한 수준입니다. Okay, so up from this year's 10,321, next year it's going to be 10,700 won.
That's correct. And they were actually trying to raise it even more to 12,000 won per hour. But there was some bargaining going on between the labor union and the country's umbrellas. And eventually they settled on, as mentioned, the rate of 10,700. So you can see that there is some adjustment period taking place. And, you know, it's something that's been bargained and negotiated for.
Exactly. Let's have a look at the term to raise.
If you're raising something, then you're making it go up. So in this particular case, we're raising the minimum wage. So the price of that or the amount paid, that has risen. It has gone up to 10,700. Other things that you can raise things physically. You can raise your arm in class. When the teacher says, who knows the answer to this? Raise your hand. You raise your hand to do so. You might raise a flag up the flagpole. There's all sorts of different things. You might ask for a raise, meaning that you want to be paid more money. So it's another different way of using it, but something that is very common that sort of has a similar idea, meaning that you want to be paid more.
Exactly. 자, 이 raise라는 단어는요, 굉장히 흥미로운 단어인데, R-A-I-S-E, 동사로 썼을 때는 무언가를 올리다. 그래서 raise something 반드시 나와야 돼요. 여기서는 raise next year's minimum wage. wage. 그리고 또 이제 손을 들다 할 때는 raise your hand. 이렇게 raise something. 이런 식으로 무언가를 올리다. 이렇게 동사로 쓰고요. 명사할 때는 완전히 의미가 달라집니다. 이때는 봉급 인상이에요. 연봉 인상. 그래가지고 I got a raise. 그러면은 나 월급 올랐어. 뭐 연봉 올랐어. 이런 뜻이 되는 거죠. I got a raise. You will get a raise. I will give you a raise. 그럼 기분 좋죠.
Yeah.
그리고 네.
One other way I'll quickly mention that it is used sometimes. You might hear someone say, "Can I raise a question?" Meaning like
sure.
you're bringing it up,
Exactly.
right? I'm going to bring up a point, and once again, that's going up. I'm bringing a point up, but I'm raising a question. You're asking a question.
Again, you have the same structure. Raise something. The meaning changes, as you said, though. 그래서 그때는 제가 질문을 하나 좀 제기해도 될까요? 질문해도 될까요? 라고 할 때 Can I raise a question? 이렇게 말할 수 있어요. 또 다른 이제 raise의 뜻 중에는 raise a child.
Yeah.
그러면은 뭐 아이를 키우다, 기르다 뭐 이런 의미가 될 수도 있죠. 근데 어쨌든 이제 형태는 raise something or raise someone 이 형태가 되는데 자, rise랑 구별해서 보면은요. R-I-S-E. rise는 오르다예요. 올리다가 아니라 오르다. So the sun rises. 이렇게. We don't raise the sun. Nobody raises the sun. 우리가 이제 sun, 태양을 끌어올리는 게 아니고 그냥 올라가는 거죠. 해가 뜨는 것을 the sun rises. 그래서 이제 rise는 동사로 썼을 때 오르다. 그리고 명사일 때는 상승이라는 뜻으로 이제 둘 다 raise나 rise나 올라가는 모습은 비슷하지만 차이가 있습니다. Alright. Let's have a look at rate.
Rate is usually the relationship between two numbers. So in this case, this is how much money you're earning per hour. So you're usually having two different numbers here in comparison, usually divided by. So as an example, another rate could be your speed rate. How fast are you traveling? Well, maybe you're traveling 60 kilometers per hour. How much is this? Oh, it's going to be 5,000 won per kilogram. That's the rate that you have to pay. So it's usually the relationship between two different numbers that gives you, I guess, a product number in the end.
요금이라는 뜻이죠. rate라고 하면은 what's your going rate? 얼마 받고 일해? 이런 의미가 될 수도 있고 아니면은 무언가에 이제 돈을 내야 될 때 what other rate can you have? Let's see.
The rate at which how quickly you make something.
Okay.
Okay, I can make 5 of these every hour. That's how quickly I can make this. So at what rate is it produced?
그럴 때는 요금이 아니고요. 얼마나 빨리 만들 수 있느냐라는 의미가 되는 건데요. 자, 지금 얘기하고 있는 거는 올해의 rate보다 내년의 rate가 380원 오른다. 그래서 이 rate는 최저임금을 말하는 또 다른 단어가 되겠습니다. 자, 그러면은 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The Minimum Wage Commission has voted to raise next year's minimum wage to 10,700 won per hour, up 380 won or 3.7% from this year's rate. Let's move on to the second headline.
The European Union's population is projected to peak in 2029 before falling below 400 million by 2100, driven by a crisis of halved birth rates and an aging demographic that will trigger severe labor shortages and fiscal strain.
유럽연합 인구가 2029년에 정점을 찍은 뒤 내리막길로 접어들어 2100년에는 4억 명 선이 붕괴될 것으로 전망됐습니다. 이는 출산율이 절반으로 감소하고 인구 고령화가 진행된 데 따른 것으로 이로 인해 심각한 노동력 부족과 재정 악화 상황이 이어질 것으로 보입니다. Tell us more.
So the European population currently is 443.3 million. It's going to be or set to peak at 2029. Now, they say that the proportion of residents aged 65 or older is currently 1 in 5. And they're expecting it to go up to 1 in 3 by 2050. So life expectancy is going up. People are having fewer children, not just in Korea. This is happening in Europe as well. And because of that, you're getting a little bit of that flip going on in terms of fewer births and people living longer.
네. 현재 유럽의 인구가 4억 5천만 명 정도거든요. 2029년에 정점을 찍어서 그다음에 이제 2100년 정도가 되면은 4억 명 아래로 떨어질 것이다라는 얘기가 되겠습니다. Alright, well, let's have a look at the expressions to peak.
The peak is the top or the highest point of a mountain. Okay, summit is the highest point of a mountain, but a peak would be kind of like, think of like that triangle at the top of a mountain, like the pointy part. Because a mountain can actually have more than one peak, right? It can have a couple of different peaks because you have a point down here and then higher up you have another peak. But typically we think of a peak as the highest point of a mountain, like a summit.
Yep.
But it's that pointy triangle. And because of that, when it comes to stats or statistics, when you have a graph chart that follows the numbers of something, if something peaks, then it means that you've hit the ceiling or the highest point of that, and then you expect that triangle to be formed where the numbers start to go down thereafter.
네, 그러니까 이 피크라는 단어가 산 정상이라는 명사로도 쓰이지만 동사로 정점을 찍고 그 다음엔 이제 내리막길로 간다라는 의미로 쓸 수 있는 거고요. 여기서는 물론 이제 피크 자체는 정점을 찍는 것이지만 맥락상 정점을 찍었다가 그 다음에는 내리막길로 간다라는 것은 그 이제 나머지 상황에서 파악할 수 있는 거고, fiscal strain은 뭘까요?
When we use the word fiscal, we're usually talking about the budget that the government uses. So in terms of the money that the government collects and how they use it to service the country and things like that. So we're talking about government and funds and money. So when we say fiscal strain, strain is something that is difficult or painful or certainly not comfortable or easy. So if you have fiscal strain, then it means that the government is going to have difficulties when it comes to balancing their budget.
Because fewer people working, of course, means it's going to be more and more difficult for the EU to earn money.
And an aging population means that social services will be needed for the elderly beyond the age of 65, let's say. Yes. So a lot more money needed to help them.
네, fiscal이라는 게 재정적이라는 뜻이고 strain은 부담감이나 압박감이죠. 그래서 재정적인 부담을 EU가 특히 이렇게 2100년 이후에 더 많이 느끼게 될 것이다. 그리고 그 전에도 계속 그렇게 그런 어떤 재정적인 부담을 느끼는 상태로 갈 것이라는 얘기인데요. 다시 한번 들어보겠습니다. The European Union's population is projected to peak in 2029 before falling below 400 million by 2100 or 2100, driven by a crisis of halved birth rates and an aging demographic that will trigger severe labor shortages and fiscal strain.
More than 30 beluga whales stranded at a closed Canadian theme park have been rescued from a potential euthanasia crisis and will be relocated to 5 accredited aquariums across the U.S. and Spain.
캐나다의 한 폐쇄된 테마파크에 갇혀있던 벨루가, 즉 흰고래 30여 마리가 안락사 위기에서 구조돼 미국과 스페인에 승인된 수족관 5곳으로 옮겨질 예정입니다. I'm so glad. I mean, I hate stories, sad stories about animals, but this one looks like a happy ending.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah?
They're going to be, going to other aquariums,
Okay.
and there could have been a problem if they didn't find homes for them. There was a thought that they could go to China originally, but that was
Okay.
kind of foiled. So now they eventually do seem to have a home, and so hopefully this will all work out for them.
So they were just sort of stranded for a while, and then they might have been euthanized.
Yes, and
What's that?
euthanized means that you're killed under a controlled environment. Often there's debates in various countries about euthanasia in terms of people,
Yeah.
and in this particular case, it would be for animals.
안락사를 euthanasia라고 합니다. 스펠링은 euthanasia인데요. To be euthanized 이렇게 동사로도 쓸 수가 있고 이 고래들 같은 경우에는요. 30여 마리가 potential euthanasia crisis를 넘겼대요. 안락사 될 수도 있었던 위기를 넘겼다. 이렇게
Yeah,
보면
it says
되죠.
a potential euthanasia crisis. So it wasn't necessarily written in stone. It wasn't necessarily going to happen, but there was the potential for it, meaning that it was possible.
Yeah,
it
there was a
It was
possibility.
being talked about, and it was a crisis. It's certainly a situation that they didn't want to happen.
Exactly.
But it seems to be that they are going to avoid that.
Well, they're going to be going to new aquariums. They are accredited aquariums.
Yeah, accredited something means that they have an official standing, or someone has given them the stamp of approval that they are official. It's not somebody that just has an aquarium or that doesn't have certain standards. These are regulated. They're owned by credible places, and they have more than anything. They have standards that people believe in.
네, 공식 인정을 받은, 인증을 받은 이라는 뜻으로 공인된 그런 수족관으로 가게 됩니다. Accredited aquariums. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. More than 30 beluga whales stranded at a closed Canadian theme park have been rescued from a potential euthanasia crisis and will be relocated to 5 accredited aquariums across the US and Spain. Let's move on to the next headline.
Madonna has tied the Beatles as the only artist to secure 10 number ones across major US and UK albums charts with her latest studio release, Confessions 2.
팝가수 마돈나의 최신 정규 앨범 Confessions 2가 빌보드 앨범 차트 정상에 올랐습니다. 이로써 마돈나는 미국과 영국 앨범 차트 모두에서 1위 앨범을 10장 이상 보유한 아티스트로 비틀스와 어깨를 나란히 하게 됐습니다. Wow, this is good news.
Yeah, so this is an album, which is different than a song. So you would have many different songs, maybe usually about 10 to 12 songs on an album. Nowadays, it's just, you don't really see albums as much because people seem to,
Listen online.
Yeah, digitally download one song, or you might watch one song streamed on a streaming service and stuff. So you don't really hear about albums as much, but it's usually the collection of 10 to 12 songs that are released at the same time. And her album has now tied the Beatles to be right up there with 10 number ones.
She's nearing 70, but she's 68 strong, I would say. 자, 그래요. She's tied the Beatles.
Yeah, if you tie someone, then you are matching what somebody else is doing or what they have done. You hear this a lot when it comes to sports. The game is tied 1-1, or they tied the score 2-2, meaning that they have the same score.
자, tie라는 게 스포츠에서는 이제 동점을 이룬다는 뜻이 있는데 여기서는 마돈나와 The Beatles가 같은 기록을 이제 보유하게 됐다는 뜻이 되겠죠. 그래서 아까 해석에서는 비틀스와 어깨를 나란히 하게 됐다 이렇게 표현을 했는데요. 자, 그 다음에는 studio release. 아까 이제 스튜디오 앨범 얘기해 주신 거랑 관련이 있겠죠?
Yeah, a studio album or a studio release means a song that has been produced in a studio. It's usually kind of perfected to the maximum everything that the best quality that they can do. As opposed to if you were to have, let's say, a live album. A live album will usually be created at a concert where there's audience members. You can usually hear the audience members maybe singing along, or you'll hear like the sound quality probably isn't going to be as good. There might be more echo.
Right.
Maybe the singer didn't take 30 takes to get everything to sound perfect. It'll just be one take, which means there might be some mistakes in there here and there. Whereas when it comes to studio releases, usually everything sounds perfect because they'll probably have recorded it multiple times.
네. 스튜디오 릴리스라고 하면은 이제 정규 앨범을 발매한 거를 얘기하는 겁니다. 그래서 그냥 정규 앨범이라고 여기서는 해석을 해도 무관하죠. 이번에 나온 앨범이 이제 정규 15집 앨범이고요. Confessions 2인데 벌써 이제 빌보드 200에서 1위를 기록하고 있습니다. 아, 참 대단하다는 생각이 들어요. 자, 다시 한번 읽어보겠습니다. Madonna has tied the Beatles as the only artist to secure 10 number ones across major US and UK albums charts with her latest studio release, Confessions 2. Now let's move on to a dinosaur story. This is our fifth headline.
A 67 million year old Tyrannosaurus Rex fossil, regarded as one of the most complete specimens ever found, has sold for more than $50 million at a Sotheby's auction in New York, marking the highest amount ever paid for a dinosaur.
지금까지 발견된 표본 중 가장 완전한 것으로 평가받는 6,700만 년 전 티라노사우루스 렉스 화석이 뉴욕 소더비 경매에서 5천만 달러가 넘는 금액에 낙찰돼 공룡 화석 경매 사상 최고가 기록을 새로 썼습니다. Wow, okay, so tell us about this T-Rex then.
Yeah, it is 3.7 meters in height, and they say that it's one of the most complete ones ever found. So often, they might be broken up in terms of bones. There might be some that are missing, but this particular one, it is in very good condition. It was discovered in South Dakota in 2021. And I've said this before. Lately, one of the things that the ultra-rich like to do is they've been buying a lot of things like Triceratops heads and T-Rex heads and things to kind of have in like your lobby or entrance of your home to kind of show off to friends and families when you enter my big mansion kind of things. And it seems that that's what's happened here, where it has been a person that has purchased this instead of like a museum as an example. And this, because this is $50 million, the most ever spent, people are concerned that this is going to continue, and museums are going to be outbid to buy these things.
네. 나중에 선생님 집에 공룡 화석 두게 되면은 저는 그럴 일이 없을 것 같으니까 초대 좀 해주세요. 구경 좀 하게. 예. 계속 유행이라고 하시는데 누구 사이에서 유행이라는 건지. 자, 좋습니다. 옛날에 이제 지금 이 공룡 화석 거스라는 닉네임이 붙여졌거든요. 거스 이전에는 이제 스탄이라는 T-렉스가 또 가장 비싼 가격에 낙찰이 됐었고, 그보다도 앞서서는 수라는 T-렉스가 있었어요. 네, 그 T-렉스도 꽤 오랫동안 기록을 보유하고 있었는데 지금은 이제 거스입니다. 자, it's regarded as the most expensive or the most complete.
If something is regarded as something, it's seen that way. It's what people think about it as. It might not necessarily be the truth or the fact, but that's what the perception is. That's how people see it. That's what people think.
이렇게 여겨진다. It's regarded as 가장 완벽한, the most complete. 이렇게 표현을 하고 있고요. 표본 중에서 그렇대요. 표본은 영어로 specimen.
A specimen is like one out of a bunch of things. So it's like one little piece or one segment that represents the group or the whole of something. If you say that somebody is a specimen, then that usually means that in a positive way, like this part of it or this particular person or thing is very positive in comparison to the rest of what they are.
Okay, almost like a role model, would you say? Or
It could be, but just something that's more impressive, like he's a specimen, right? Then you're thinking like that he's a really good specimen is basically what you're saying.
뭐 굉장히 무언가를 그 자기 분야에서 잘하는 사람이다라는 그런 뜻으로 쓸 수 있군요. specimen. 네, 원래 뜻은 이제 표본 내지는 견본이 되겠습니다. 자, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. A 67 million-year-old Tyrannosaurus rex fossil, regarded as one of the most complete specimens ever found, has sold for more than $50 million at a Sotheby's auction in New York, marking the highest amount ever paid for a dinosaur. And that's it for today's headlines.